Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Imose Signature, and if you're a first time subscriber, I want to say a big welcome to my channel. If you're still not subscribed, kindly hit the subscribe button and subscribe now. Thank you very much. So for today's tutorial, I'm going to be showing how I created the look in the previous clip on this beautiful model. So first things, I always start with hydrating the face first. So I just go in with the hydrating spray and I spray all over the face, and then I allow that to sit in, and I blend it. So I blend that in with a flat brush, and then make sure that the skin absorbs the product first. So you want to make sure that when you're layering your skin products, that you allow the skin absorb it one at a time. And then next thing, I'm going in with a moisturizer. Now I apply the moisturizer all over the face with the same brush that I used in blending the spray that the hydrating spray I sprayed on her face earlier. So I blend that in, and also allow it to dry for like a minute or two, so the skin just absorbs everything. And then next thing, I go in with a hydrating primer. Now for this look, I use the Omaricode hydrating primer here. So I applied that all over her face, and then I blended in with the same brush that I used for my moisturizer. Now remember, always make sure that the skin absorbs the product one at a time. So you want to make sure that whenever you're layering products, one product is properly absorbed into the skin before you go in with another one. So next up, I did the foundation selection, and I had to like blend on one part of the face to be very sure that okay, it was her match. And then I went in to apply on the other corners of her face. So I always go in with a brush. I apply first with a buffing brush, and then after applying with a buffing brush, I further go in with to blend with a beauty blender. I just find this procedure easier for me. When I use the brush first and then I go in with a beauty blender, I like the blend that it gives me. It just gives this kind of airbrush like finish. So I apply generously with the brush, and while I'm applying, I blend also. Now, when you're using your brush to apply your foundation, you want to make sure that you are tapping into the skin and not shifting. You're not like sliding your brush on the face, but rather you are tapping, you're pushing the products into like the face. I don't know if that makes any sense, but just watch what I'm doing, like the way I apply. So you want to make sure that you are not swiping the brush downwards. I mean, because I'm using a buffing brush. If I was using a flat brush, I would swipe down. But for a buffing brush, you want to make sure that you're pushing like in tapping motions, kind of. I don't know if that makes any sense, but with what you are saying in the video, you can see what I am doing. And always make sure that your foundation is properly blended on all um corners of the face. So next thing, I like I said, I go in with a beauty blender to further like give a proper blend. There's just this finish that when you use the beauty sponge or the beauty blender after the brush, it just makes the skin look very smooth, and your foundation application just looks seamless and flawless. So this is like my go-to routine. I always go in with a brush, and then next thing I go with a beauty blender. So for contouring, I used 3 shades darker than her normal skin tone, and then I applied that to the hollow of the cheek. The hollow of the cheek on both sides. Then I applied that using my foundation brush also, and just blend that away. So I always use a foundation for contouring. I've never really been one to use concealers for contouring, because for me, I feel like foundation is just easier to control rather than using contour sticks or concealers. So I applied that to the whole of the cheek, and then next thing I went to also apply the contour on the outer parts of her eye, on the outer corner of her eye. Then I blended that into the her temples and then extended it to the her hairline. That's the edges of her hair. So to make sure we get that perfect sculpt. So when you're doing your contour, you want to make sure that you avoid having lines, because the idea of contouring is to create shadow, to create depth on the face. So you do not want lines. Now for cream blush, I mixed two shades of cream blush here. I used pink, a very light pink, and an orange, and I applied that just exactly above the contour. So you want to make sure that your blush is sitting on top of your contour, not, or rather your blush is sitting above your contour, not directly on the contour. So you can see, and I'm also placing it very, very close to our eyes because I want to create a very lifted eye look. So for concealer, I use the Yanga Beauty Concealer. I think this was SMC 4. I can't remember. I'm going to try to put the product descriptions or the every product that I use in the description box. So you might want to check that out at the end of this video. So I blended that in with my beauty sponge. While I'm blending, I'm also trying to create like a triangle under her eyes and also to create a lifted eye look. So that's why you see me extend the concealer on the outer corner of her eye upward, because I want that lifted eye look. So next thing, I'm going to set her face with a loose setting powder. So before you do that, you want to make sure that your under eye is properly blended, because what you set is what you get. So if the concealer under your eye is already creasing and you go in to apply a setting powder just like that, there's a very, very high possibility that at the end of your makeup, the under eye is going to crease. So you want to make sure that the under eye looks properly blended, like the concealer is properly blended before you go into set. There should be no crease lines, there should be no wrinkles in your concealer before you set. So you blend properly. As you are blending, immediately you set with your setting powder. So what you set is what you get. So if it is already set, then your under eye is not going to have any issue all through the day. I first of all go in with a brush, because I feel like when I use a brush, I have like this very, very light application. So because you don't want too much products under the eye. And then I go in before I go in with a beauty blender. So when I pick my loose powder with the beauty blender, I always dust off the excess. So you don't want to just use your beauty blender and pack a whole lot of setting powder and just apply under the eye. So when you pick with your beauty blender, you dust off the excess on your palm before you go in to apply under the eye. Remember, less is more. Now, if I feel like if you're still sleeping on Nigerian brands, I don't know. Nigerian brands are really, really doing very, very well. Like for this look, I used, I think almost everything that every product I used was from a Nigerian brand. Yeah, and I can tell you for free, they are really doing a very, very good job. After setting her under eye, I went in to set the other areas of her face, and after that, I did powder contouring on the same areas that I contoured using the foundation. And then after that, I went in with blush. So for blush, I also mixed a pink and an orange blush. I really love using orange blushes. I just love this. I love the look it gives. Yeah. So for almost every skin tone, I always mix with an orange blush. So even if I'm going to be using pink or red, I still infuse a bit of orange into that mix. So next thing, I had already done like the base of her eyes off camera, because I think my battery went low at some point. So I'm just smoking the her bottom lash line with a dark brown. because what I'm creating today is also a pigmented eye. So now after that, I went in with my pigment glue and I applied that all over the eyes. Then I went in with the pigment color that I wanted to use. It was a red and a yellow gold. So I applied the red all over because I was trying to achieve like a cocktail effect or a halo effect rather. So I applied the red all over and then I went in back with my pigment glue and I applied on the middle of her eyes and then I went in with the yellow gold pigment and just tapped that on top of the red and then blended that into each other until it looked like the colors were coming out of each other as opposed to one just standing on top of the other. So next thing I went in with the dark brown and then I blended the harsh lines away from the pigments and just blended that into my transition shade. And then I repeated the same procedure on the other eye. Now this is me applying the glitter glue before going with the pigments on top of it. So you see now how it stands out on top of the red, but you do not want to leave it like that. You want to make sure that it looks the both colors come into each other. So that is what I'm doing. So I went back with the red and then I blended that on top of the yellow gold also. So now you see how it looks now and how it looked before. The difference is clear. So next then I went in with the a dark brown from the Annie's Beauty palette and then to further blend the um corners of the eye. So for liner, I use the Tehila Cosmetics liner here. Yeah, the Tehila Cosmetics liner, and then I apply that using an angle brush. So yeah, for brows, I first of all went into tame the brows. So I used the brow tamer. This was from Brow Tamer by Damel. So this is just to set all the hairs of the brows in place and to also create the shape that I want. She had pretty full brows, so her brows was did not really her brows were really not so hard for me to do because they were full. So for brows, always outline I always start by drawing an outline. So I draw an outline on the bottom part of the brow. So I follow the hairline. So what you have is what I draw on. I mean the hairline should guide you to the shape that you should create. So not everybody does not have the same shape of brows. Everybody do not have the same kind of arch. So you want to follow what you are saying. So the way the hair is growing, I just follow with my gel liner and an angle brush, and then I draw an outline. So I'm making sure that my line is following where the hair stops, basically. So I draw an outline on the bottom part. After that, I do on the top part. Now the outline, I only outline the parts of the brows that are not full. Like for this model now, she had a full, her brows were pretty full, not so full, but I mean the beginning part of her brows, that's the head of her brows, were full. So that is why you did not see me outline that area. So I only outlined the areas that were not full. And after that, I went in with a pencil to fill in the um, the sparse areas on her brows. So I went in back to my liner and after I had fixed the lashes, I went in back to line the eye to re-emphasize that line. For lip, I used a brown lip liner combination actually, from Avour Cosmetics and I think my gel liner, yes. So I just applied that all over her lip to outline, and then I peachy nude went in with a peachy nude and I blended that right on top of from the middle of her lip to on top of the brown liner. So it looks like it's almost one color. using a blending brush. That was what I applied with. So you find that when you use a blending brush to do this, it's always easier. So guys, if you're still not subscribed to my channel, please do not forget to hit the subscribe button. You can just do that now. Kindly hit the subscribe button, and you can share this video with a friend, drop a comment. I promise that I'm going to be more consistent with my YouTube this year, and by the grace of God, I will be more consistent. But I need your support, so kindly subscribe to my channel, like my videos when you come across them, drop a comment, share the videos. I mean, it will go a very long way. So after I was done with the lip combination that I wanted to do, I went in to start doing my finishing touches. Dust off the setting powder under eye. I went back to my blush and I re-emphasized my blush. Yeah, I'm a fan of, I really love when the face is blushed out, so that is why I had to go back in. And after that, I went in with highlighter and I applied the highlighter on the high points of her cheek, her chin, her forehead, and the bridge of her nose. So for highlighter, I used the one from Blossom Makeup. Now remember, I told you that almost every product I used for this look was Nigerian brands, and trust me, Nigerian brands are really killing it. Honestly, I'm so proud of what we are doing in Nigeria. And then I went in with a gloss. So I used a colored gloss from Avour Cosmetics. Used the colored gloss from Avour Cosmetics, and then Blossom Makeup also. So the first colored gloss I used, I think, was from Blossom. The nude is, it's a nude colored gloss. And then I went in with the like a shiny brown gloss from Avour Cosmetics, just to blend the outer corners of her lip. So I've always been a gloss guy, like right from time. I just find that when you glossy lips always looks finer. If I do say so myself, it always looks finer. There's this youthful appearance it just brings, this youthful glow it just brings. I mean, look at the lip, the way it was before, and look at it now. Man, you can, the difference is clear. The difference is very clear. So that is why I'm always going to gear towards a glossy lip than a matte lip. So I only do matte lip when I just want to do something okay different, or on a client's request. So if that's not the case, you would always catch me doing a glossy lip. I mentioned this tip in my previous video. So I always go back in with my liner, the shade, the color that I used in lining her lip. I always go back after I've done my gloss to re-emphasize that line. So there's just this extra effect that it just gives, and I really love it. So after that, I went in with my setting powder, and I I wanted to brighten up her under eye just a little. Now, not so much of anything, remember, less is more, but I just wanted to brighten up just a little bit. So I applied that with my powder puff, a triangular powder puff. I applied that under the eye, and also so I dragged that to the outer part of the eye to create that lifted eye look. Now guys, this is the finished look, and I hope you enjoyed watching this tutorial as much as I enjoyed creating this look. Kindly drop a comment in the comment box. Thank you guys for watching.